Third round of the Memorial Tournament presented by Bonobos. Wherever your tour takes you, and it's completed there in Dublin, Ohio, Muirfield Village. Of course, Jack designed course there. We have a three-way tie atop the lead there. Rory McIlroy at 600, Soo Kim as well at 600, David Lipsky at 600. Lipsky came in tied for third, 2 shots back, had the lead there, and then went bogey on 17 and 18 to fall back to 6 under. So there's a three-way tie there atop the leaderboard. Third round of the Memorial, McIlroy, Kim, and Lipsky. And then you have 19 other golfers within 3 shots, including 5 tied for 4th at 5 under, including Victor Hovland. Let's go ahead and bring in Rick Gehman, CBS Sports golf analyst and host of the First Cut podcast. And let's start there at the top there, Rick. You got 3 golfers tied at the top there with Rory McIlroy. Had a birdie, bogey, and that big par on 18 there to get to 600. Then you saw with our guy Lipsky had a little struggles there towards the end, a couple of back-to-back bogeys there. What do you make of that round 3 here with the 3-way lead at the top at the Memorial?
Yeah, this was an absolute shakeup here, Larry. I mean, there was a time during Saturday's round where Hideki Matsuyama had a 3-shot lead, and I was getting ready to start engraving his name on the trophy. And then we got a big shakeup, and you can see what those final couple of holes can do to these golfers. David Lipsky in particular, who also had a multiple-shot lead at one point, you know, those 2 late bogeys. But what I saw from Rory McIlroy was quite impressive. I thought it was a patient Rory McIlroy. And that's not something that we saw from him a couple of weeks ago at Oak Hill for the PGA Championship, where it felt like he was trying to win the tournament on Thursday, trying to win it on Friday, as opposed to just committing to the fact that his stuff is good enough to beat just about everybody in the world. Now, that description of how he played golf is what I would say he did on Saturday. It was nothing super spectacular. It was a round of 70. That's 2 under par, but he has to realize 2 under par around Muirfield Village is going to be a really good score 9 out of 10 times. It was on this Saturday, and now all of a sudden he's going to enter the final rounds with a co-lead and try to add another PGA Tour win to the resume.
Yeah, let's get into Rory McIlroy. Of course, he spoke on Friday, and he talked about the pressures of playing a lot of golf under the PGA Tour schedule and how that sort of affected his earlier season, including the Masters there. And then, of course, we saw the tweet storm, the drive-by by Phil Mickelson at 11:54 p.m. on a Friday night, no less there, Rick. He said, "Live would be perfect for Rory. Problem is, I don't think there's a team that wants him because of all the stuff and all the BS they'd have to put up with." Rick, what are your thoughts here, your reaction here? And also, what are your thoughts here of Phil Mickelson in his 50s now talking and tweeting at 11:54, almost midnight on a Saturday morning?
The lack of time that he has to play, the relaxed hours of Live gives Phil way too much time to be on Twitter. You know, if I check my notes here and think about guys that carry a lot of BS with them, Phil's probably near the top of the list. Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, a lot of other guys that reside on Live at the moment. And if you are a serious league, a serious competition, if you want everybody to take your team seriously, saying that there is not a spot for the number 1, number 2, number 3 player in the world, Rory McIlroy, is a joke. Phil has unfortunately turned into a Twitter troll here in his 50s as opposed to competitive golfer.
You know, Rick, I appreciate the Twitter fingers there. I'm going to say, you know, as they say, like the Dallas Cowboys, you know, no news or any news is good news. And I think this is good for golf. I mean, just what are your thoughts here just on the back and forth? I kind of like this. It's a little spicy, Rick.
I'll tell you what, we don't get much drama in golf, right? We got a little bit of Brooks versus Bryson. We obviously have Liv versus the PGA Tour. Phil now, turning full heel here and going after the baby face of Rory McIlroy. I get what you're saying, Larry. All ratings are good ratings. We're talking about it. We're keeping Phil's name in our mouth, so I guess he is accomplishing his goal.
Absolutely. We're talking about it here, and it happened late on a Friday night, Phil, with a tweet storm at 11:54 p.m. Eastern. You look at it, there's 19 golfers within 3 shots. 28 golfers within 4 shots here of the lead at 6 under going into the final round. How do you assess this field as we head into the final round on Sunday?
There's so many guys who are still in this thing, Larry. I mean, we saw what can happen around Muirfield Village all week long, but we saw it again on Saturday. This is a difficult but fair golf course, as opposed to a difficult but unfair golf course. An unfair golf course is more random, and it generally keeps most golfers within arm's reach of one another, or you can get a guy who just goes out and goes nuts. A fair golf course just rewards good shots and punishes bad ones. So you have a situation where I could see someone going out and shooting a 68 on Sunday. I could see someone going out and shooting a 76 on Sunday. I mean, we saw it on Saturday. So what that creates is, combined with this log jam of golfers at the top, is that literally there are probably 25 different guys with a realistic chance of winning this golf tournament. That's not something that we see on a weekly basis. Remember, Billy Horschel, when he won this tournament last year, entered the final rounds with a multiple shot lead, never looked back, and it was a coronation on Sunday. I do not think this will be decided until maybe the final hole on Sunday, or it might require some extra ones to get us a champion this time around.
Yeah, lots of drama there. We're going to be, of course, watching those finishing 4 or 5 holes there at the Memorial. All right, let's get your pick to win here, Rick Gehman. Rory's the favorite there, plus 260. Kim, plus 700. Then you got Hovland there at plus 800. So those are the top 3 there. Who's your pick to win the Memorial and come out on top there in Dublin, Ohio?
I have no idea. But Patrick Cantlay was my pre-tournament pick. He was my pick Thursday night and Friday night. And on a Saturday night, I think he's got to be my pick as well, being only 2 shots off the pace. He's done a couple of good things statistically this week that I think are worth talking about. He has not putted well at all, and he's one of the better putters that we have on the PGA Tour. So if he gets a little bit of a heater in the flat stick on Sunday, I think he could fly up the leaderboard. The other thing is he made a very rare triple bogey on Saturday, which was quite honestly more of a mental mistake than anything. If he just kind of eliminates that, there's just no reason for him to be in the mix. And if he does pull it off, Larry, it'll be the 3rd time he's won the Memorial. So I'm sticking with my guy. I'm sticking with Patrick Cantlay.
All right, Rick Gehman, enjoy the rest of the golf there at the Memorial. He is the CBS Sports golf analyst and host on the First Cut podcast. You can watch the final round on CBS, also Paramount Plus and CBSSports.com and the CBS Sports app. And don't forget, you can hear much more from Rick on the First Cut podcast, which takes you inside the ropes of the PGA Tour and beyond. Previews, picks, got some deep dives into the storylines that propel the golf world. It is the First Cut podcast. Download and subscribe wherever you receive your podcast.